all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle chapter 101. Immediately afterwards, Chen Tian smiled and muttered to himself, and his body appeared in place again. However, the Krypton bloodline originally has unlimited potential, and no matter what ability is developed, it is normal. He thought and felt the other two blood veins in his body. It was found that the other two bloodlines had changed. They seemed to have disappeared. To be precise, they merged under the catalysis of this time, and another new bloodline had been formed. It can manically divide cells, intensify the absorption of stellar energy, increase body density and strength, and can constantly breed magical energy. No longer a single bloodline. It's a complete and perfect integration. I'm much stronger than Clark now. Chen Tiantansheng sighed. Whether it is strength or potential at this stage, as long as there are no accidents, I am afraid that he can only follow me forever. The mind settled. He suddenly wanted to test his strength, and now what kind of point he could achieve. If you want to try it. Chen Tian followed his thoughts here and flew directly towards the sky. Now he doesn't have so much to worry about. Phew, the whole body suddenly turned into an afterimage that ordinary people could not see clearly, and quickly swept over the New York City area. There were even 2 sound barriers in front of them. Now I'm flying with all my strength. I'm afraid, so good that Zhao has exceeded the speed of sound by more than 10 times. Not bad. Chen Tian first tested his speed and what level he could reach. After getting the result, he nodded quite satisfied. Subsequently, he turned around, but in just 10 seconds, he was in front of the mountains on the outskirts of New York City and landed heavily. Rumble. Chen Tian had just finished telling the 2 feet of the flight that he had just stepped on the ground for a moment. The whole ground suddenly trembled. The land within a few meters of the surrounding area was shaken into earth powder, splattered from the ground, and dusty flew up. And Chen Tian did not do anything to stay and prepare. Look at the mountains in front of you. The gaze froze. Lift your feet and step forward. Fist. Twist the waist. Swing your arm back. At this time, all the muscles tensed in unison, and the large tendons bounced. Punch forward. On the fist that Chen Tian pushed forward at supersonic speed, there were even 3 sound barriers. Where the fist passed, Sheng was punched out of a vacuum channel. The next moment, rumble. The terrifying majestic power suddenly erupted at this moment. The infinite wind and airflow suddenly swept through, turning into an endless wind blowing in all directions. Setting off thousands of meters of surrounding mountains and forests swaying without knowing it. The ground is shaking even with the atmosphere. Boom. In a succession of heaven-shaking sounds. The power on Chen Tian's fist was already like a violent furious dragon, and it was like an unstoppable torrent of steel leaning forward. But in the blink of an eye, the mountain range in front of him was actually bombarded by endless surging power, disintegrating inch by inch, and everything on the mountain instantly turned into powder and was blown away. Endless dust and mist tumbling towards the sky. The 1,000-meter-long mountain range actually fell apart under Chen Tian's punch. It's only been a month. Have I become so strong? Chen Tian looked at the vast pit that had just appeared in front of him, and also looked a little surprised, muttering to himself. Such a fast lifting speed. Make him look forward to the future even more. Chapter 79 Bruce Wayne's Help. The divine speed power that can travel back in time and space. After testing his strength, Chen Tian returned to the Delonhay Manor with a satisfied smile. At this time, he suddenly remembered that he had just swung a punch casually, but the impact was about to be on the New York news again. When you have power, your influence also starts to grow. Those who hold authority, with their hands, can change many things and attract a lot of attention. Chen Tian continued to lie back on the lounge chair by the pool and raised his fist to meet the sun, and my fist can be the same, or even more. Quote. Then, he smiled helplessly and shook his head. No, it seems that I have been a little inflated in the past few days. I have to adjust my mentality. The road is still very long. Quote. If he just set his sights on the Earth, then Chen Tian's strength is enough now. But looking at the entire Marvel universe, he is still a little underlooked. Even, it is only said that there are still some existences on the Earth that Chen Tian is not capable of, such as the ancient mage who practiced in the hidden world. In other words, the ancient mage is a good opponent. As long as you can reach each other. Perhaps he can get the ability of the other party's supreme mage, and according to the characteristics of his current ability, even his talent can be perfectly copied. Continue to get stronger. But now Chen Tian is not enough to face Gu Yi. Perhaps many people do not know Gu Yi deeply, but her combat power is far stronger than in film and television. At this time, the sun was in full bloom, and the sunlight carried majestic stellar energy, and wine was on his body. All the cells were working hard, changing Chen Tian's body, constantly strengthening and transforming. Time passes. Until the evening, the remnants of the sun in the distant mountains were only the afterglow. Chen Tian ended today's sunbathing and stood up. It's time to head to the DC universe again and find the Flash. He took a deep breath and made clear what he was aiming for next. The Flash's super fast power. True. Today, Chen Tian has copied the abilities of many characters, and several super speeds have been superimposed together, and his speed has been pushed to an extremely terrifying speed. It has even exceeded the speed of sound by more than a dozen times. Moreover, relying on the bloodline in his body, Chen Tian's speed would become faster and faster. But all growth does not happen overnight, but takes time. And as long as I get the divine speed power, then my speed can directly skip the long growth process and go directly to a peak. Chen Tian muttered, and the thoughts in his heart gradually became clear. Although the Flash's ability is relatively single, only God speed power. But if the other party only talks about speed, it is faster than Da Chao. That guy can dominate with only God speed. Moreover, at this stage, if you want to compare with the Flash in terms of speed, you can't say that you are slightly inferior to 317, you can only say that it is far behind. After all, the former belongs to the growth type, has unlimited growth space, and has unlimited potential, but in the end, it still takes time to turn potential into strength. The latter, on the other hand, reached its peak on his debut, and has a speed close to the speed of light. Even in the later stage, you can surpass the speed of light and go back in time. Such an ability, if Chen Tian could obtain it, would undoubtedly directly bring him great blessings. Rao was Chen Tian himself, and he also began to look forward to the divine speed. Thereupon, he quickly went to find Wolf Uncle Logan, and told the latter that he was going to leave for a while, and Logan didn't ask too much when he heard this. But just said that let Chen Tian go with peace of mind, and he could take care of this side of the manor. It's just after Chen Tian left. Rogan stood in place, still couldn't help but be curious. I don't know where Chen is going again this time, and how powerful he can become after returning. Quote. Thinking, he couldn't help but smile wryly and shook his head. Chapter 1 Previous Chapter 100